SaaS in the restaurant tech space. We used to build point of sale supply chain management software for restaurants. I ran it for a good 6.5 years, raised a seed round. We finally got acquired by Times Internet. So I was part of the Times Internet team for like 2 years. After that, I came out of it in like Jan 21. Since then, I've been building Predis full time. So I mean, my acquisition happened when I was like 31. So I mean, I have kind of seen that full circle in terms of starting, raising a seed, then getting a Series A term sheet, then signing up an SHA, and then working in your acquired company for 2 years, and then finally starting again. So this time obviously life is easier. I mean, there is a lot of perspective to whatever I do, so that way it kind of helps. So when I started this, I mean, it was primarily a lot of learnings around what had gone wrong in the last time, and I was sure that whatever happens, I will not repeat my mistakes. So first mistake which I think I did was selling in India. So this time it had to be global from day zero. Then obviously SaaS is what I understood. So it had to be SaaS, but it had to be DIY. Because at the end of 6.5 years, what I realized was to make those unit economics work in India. I mean, I think Indian people have a very wrong set of expectations in terms of whatever the value they are willing to give versus the kind of expectations they have. So I think there was a large mismatch, which is why I thought that PLG would be a right way to go. So today with Predis, I mean, we are it is like almost two plus years now since we have been building it, and just now almost trying to almost at 200k of ARR as of now. 95% of our revenue comes from US, and I don't think so we have spoken to 95% of our users who are paying. So that is how things are for us.
Thanks for your info. So hi guys, my name is Pritesh. I'm one of the founders of a company called Storeplum. We are into e-commerce space. We are a website builder, as well as we help customers retain their generate more revenues through repeat sales. So basically, it's a similar space of what other e-commerce builders are. Just a bit of my background. So I'm also a computer science engineer. I did my master's from UT Dallas. Spent about a decade in US, and it was at that time I realized that I have to start something of my own when I moved to India. Starting a company wasn't really an easy task. I used to work for an e-commerce company called Storeplum for some time. I came with that notion of starting something similar in the D2C space. So that was how I got into entrepreneurship in the first place. So with the learnings with Storeplum, how to build a lean e-commerce machine, I built a website of my own with my co-founder here. She's also in the audience. And after once we started generating revenues on the website, we realized that supply chain is another big task, which both of us who come from tech background were completely unaware of that. So it was at that point COVID just hit around the same time, and it was the right time to make a pivot. And our pivot was it makes more sense that we focus on our core technologies, core strengths, which is technology, and we built a leaner version of e-commerce which helps SMBs. Today we primarily sell in US. Our journey has been, we are still in pretty early stages of our journey. We recently did a sumo launch where we generated a decent amount of revenue. Also had quite a few interesting customers who helped us to bring in more customers on the platform. So this is where we are at the journey so far.
So we'll jump straight away to GTM piece. What has been, so that you have an experience prior with like 6.5 years of experience with your startup that you were working with. So what were the strategies that you took from day zero that has worked for you, and with some of them which you have tried have not worked?
Okay, so I mean, this time as I said, I was trying to build a DIY product. Now since it was DIY, it also had to be PLG, because I mean the formula was simple, that people need to discover us online. They need to come, we will have a free trial, they will try the product. If they like it, they convert. If they don't like it, they do not. So from day zero, we have been very, very particular about building a dashboard and tracking metrics. So I mean, I don't know how many founders here do that. I mean, especially in my last startup, I think after the first 2 years or so, we started thinking of कि कुछ तो metric बनाते हैं, कुछ dashboard बनाते हैं, कुछ track करते हैं. So till that time, it was basically कि what is my sales happening, and that was the only thing. But this time, I mean, from day zero, it has been that how many people are coming on the website, how many people are signing up, how does my funnel look like, how many steps are in my funnel, what is the percentage of drop off at each and every rate, and each and everything. So I think from talking of channels, like let's say, there are 3 channels which are working for us: SEO, performance marketing, influencer. Every channel has a separate Excel sheet with at least 20 to 30 columns. Every column kind of represents a step in that journey, and essentially we run experiments which say that, okay, which column are you trying to optimize for? So we will obviously take risks, we keep on experimenting every day. So that, basically tracking everything and making sure whatever we are trying to do is a very data driven thing is something we have tried to make sure from day zero.
For us, we have been focusing on SEO from day zero. So it was mostly relevant blogs from the top of the funnel. So again, top of the funnel was the early mistake that we did. We tried to sort of see what competition is especially doing. Not exactly Shopify, but there were smaller players in the segment. We were following them closely on what kind of content they are publishing. Over the time, we figured out what is going to work and what is not going to work. So we built a lot of free tools on the SEO side. There are tools which generate traffic. There are also certain something which is called as large blogs or really long content. So Brandly, if somebody knows, I think most of us you must be knowing Brandly. So really long content has been working out for us. So some of these contents are generating most of the leads and free trials for us as of now. And inside the product, one thing which I would like to proudly say is we have gotten a lot of very positive feedback on our product from the customers, as well as since we are actively talking to investors right now. A lot of investors, the first impression that we get is your product looks pretty polished given the stage that you are in. So that has also helped us to at least engage with the customer who are trying our free trials, and we are trying to build a funnel pipeline around those things, sending them the right emails at the right times and those things. And basically, that is the stage we are in.
Right. So what are certain things, Tanmay, that you do within the product? Which kind of, it could be tech stack that you use, is it internal things that you kind of build to track these and then move customer up the ladder?
Got it. So I think I'll answer the tech stack question first, and then I'll answer the way we try to track it or how are we trying to do it. So we have raised a small angel round from First, that is basically a small version of India Cushion. So we had gotten some mixed panel credit. So we kind of tried to set up a mixed panel and all of those things. I tried to play with it, but then finally it did not work out the way I wanted. So basically, as of today, it's a mix of GA, GSE. Then we have Mongo is our database. So what we do is MongoDB Charts is basically a charting platform on top of Mongo. So essentially, we keep on building a lot of I would say different looking type of metrics. It's like different type of charts which kind of track each and everything. So broadly there are like usage metrics. There are something like what is generated content. There is a funnel tracker. So these are broad level dashboards what we have. Within each dashboard, then there is a lot of things which are there. Now this is how we track. Now what do we track? So I think from day zero it has been that how do we get the user to the wow moment fastest? Wow moment in terms of what is the product trying to solve for. That is also our communication, and that is also what the user should see. So we have made, in the last 2 years, we have obviously made a lot of mistakes in terms of how should the funnel look like, how should the journey be. Simple example I'll tell you. Day zero website was obviously cluttered. Then the sign up page, we were trying to show everything. कि चलो sign up page तक तो आ गया, कुछ और दिखा दो कि ये भी करता है. Maybe he'll be happy and then he'll sign up. Then once he does sign up, then he goes to the onboarding page. Then we will ask him 10 different questions. The objective behind asking 10 different questions was we wanted to gather as much data as we can so that the output which we show him is a very personalized kind of a thing. And then obviously after that, then he can start to, I would say, interact with the product. So the largest learning has been that as soon as we started reducing the number of inputs or reducing the number of layers or reducing the number of data points which the user sees, our conversions have just been going up and up. As of today, if you look at our landing page which we run for a performance ads, it just has a headline, just a small video and a sign up. That's it, nothing else. Our sign up page is basically just, originally for some reason we are asking company name and who are you and like typical B project ka first name, last name and all of that jazz. So as of today, it is just you give an email, And another important, I think, very interesting thing was we did Google sign-in wala bit on our signing page like 3-4 months back. After that, 80% of the people are just using that. I was surprised at why we did not think of it from day zero. I mean, small things. Then coming to the onboarding bit, we realized that we are asking too many things. So we also have Clarity, MS Clarity, which we I look at it like every week. I look at sessions which are less than 2 minutes, somebody who has landed up, try to see what are they trying to do. So, I mean, because we also kind of measure our funnel. So what is our like step 0 drop off, step 1 drop off, activated drop off, then who is getting activated, how are they doing. So Clarity kind of told me that, okay, people come in, they see 10 inputs, they're just moving their mouse and then they decide to go away. So we thought, do we really need these 10 inputs? If we just start with 1 input, what would happen? So there was a lot of chaos कि बस एक input से तो हो ही नहीं सकता हम तो मतलब how do we even generate? So then we started reducing from 2 steps, it came to 1 step. Abhi there are only 3 inputs. Abhi as of today, what are we now trying to experiment with is there are 3 versions of onboarding which we have right now. So when a user comes in, he is randomly assigned one of those versions. So first version is basically the current thing which we have. Second version is something which also shows a finished output. So somebody who is stuck there, just to nudge them that if you do this, you will see something like this. A third version is basically where everything is filled, all inputs are filled with some random, not random, basically some pre-decided values. They just have to click submit. So, I mean, as of today, I don't know if you guys would want to guess it, like which is working the best, but I mean, I'll just answer it. So the second one, which is the blank with some nudge, that is working the best. I mean, the differences are not much. Like the C version is like maybe 3% conversion, the B version is 3.5% conversion, but we get like 100k new users per month. So that 1% is also a significant bump for us. So essentially, just to come back, and I mean, this is where the onboarding piece is. Then within the product itself, then mobile, desktop, there are different ways in which it kind of works. A mobile user would look at the screen in a very different way. A desktop user would look at it in a very different way. So essentially, we try to optimize it more from a wow moment, that I know what my wow moment is. Now again, coming to how did we discover about what our wow moment was. I mean, we are a product which helps businesses make social media content. So for us, it is important that people should see something good on their first try. That's it. If they don't see good, they are going to drop off, and then obviously they are going to tell 10 different people, boss, ये तो नहीं हो पाएगा. And if they see something good, then they will also go and tell different people कि ये तो बहुत अच्छा product है. So what we did was, we looked at last 6-8 months of data. We essentially people who are paying versus people who are dropping off versus people, I mean, who are just on the free plan. And we basically try to identify, is there a common thread or common thing for customers who have converted to paid users. I mean, I told you guys, right? Like we have a free trial, there is a limit to that free trial. So we were trying to like looked at all data points. Fortunately, we are an AI company, both my co-founders are data scientists. So we looked at all of those things, and what we realized was, if somebody makes 10 posts, that is the time when his probability of converting to a paid user is like 15%. That was the strongest data point which we could find out of whatever X number of interactions which happen. So our onboarding today is kind of attuned to that once you start doing it, then you start seeing a help kind of a bit that do you want to do this, do you want to do that, some nudges on create more, we try to do that. So that is how we are trying to kind of progress. It is obviously work in progress, like basically trying to experiment at each and every step wherever we can.
Product experimenting with a lot of like product within product, break in a lot of components which you can experiment and then try.
Correct. I mean, the idea has been to basically A/B test each and everything. I mean, from a funnel perspective, somebody who is coming to you, like for us, fortunately, there are multiple channels through which people come in. So somebody is coming via SEO, somebody is coming via paid ads, somebody is coming via an influencer. So when they land on our website, on our property, what page do they see? What is the communication on that page? How do they go to the sign up? Can we also link somebody coming from an SEO, let us say a particular blog? When he goes to the onboarding, can we get it to that level that we know which blog he was on and we can show him something relevant on the onboarding page? I mean, we have not gone there, but that is something which is on the pipeline, which is why this whole ABC wala bit. So idea is essentially from day zero, whenever he comes to our property, when we can start tracking him, to the time he is with us, we would ideally want to measure or rather track each and everything, and then hopefully get some insights out of it.
So like SMB products, DIY products, lifetime deals have come big way, helping get revenues, get the product out in the market. What has been the experience If you can share. I think both of you guys have done LTDs on different platforms. What has been the experience?
So I'll go with that. We did a lightning campaign in November last year.
Along with that, mention the platform as well.
Yeah, sure. So we did a lightning deal on AppSumo. So AppSumo, if you guys don't know, it's a marketplace for SaaS tools. Most of the times, a lot of early stage SaaS founders will offer lightning deals or deals on the platform. When we started, that was one of our initial strategies, just to get a quick validation on what we are trying to build, whether how customers resonate with that. So that was our motive behind launching on AppSumo. And what we found was at this 15 our sort of campaign completed. Basically, we sort of talked with one of the team members from AppSumo. They sort of helped us with the creatives and videos, content, etc. for the launch. And once it was launched on the daily basis, there was a certain spike in traffic. Let's say our average was maybe 15-20 users, so then it was suddenly 1,000 users. So there was a certain spike. It also happened that at the very same time when the first person from AppSumo tried to build a store, we found a bug just at that time. So when the traffic was just coming in and there were just 2 of us who were trying to work and fix on that. So that was a different experience. But anyway, overall the campaign was pretty much a success. We sort of had roughly around close to 700 users from the platform. A lot of online stores went on the website, and also made a decent revenue throughout the process. But I think the major takeaway from the campaign was the feedback. If we are at all building the right product, I would say it's a complete BFF scale, but at least we knew that we are heading in the right direction and there is a need of what we are trying to build. So after talking to a lot of users later on, I would also tell you that half of these users will be resellers. So they will try to buy your software and sell it at a higher price at a later point. So be ready for that. If you guys are comfortable, then I would recommend go with AppSumo. Otherwise, product is also a better option. But in our case, we sort of basically the user base that you get, you also can also sort of use them to have more reviews on different platforms like GTMDialogues, etc. So all of these initial things it helps us to get a lot of word of mouth or feedback out. Any specific that you want.
Would you recommend people doing it at an early stage or what stage?
Honestly, I would definitely recommend either AppSumo product and whatever platform you feel is right, go for it. Because the thing is, it will validate what you're trying to do. It can be, a lot of things, a lot of the tools that we see on AppSumo are mostly into e-commerce space. Nowadays, it is generative AI space. Some smaller CRMs, like people who cannot afford HubSpot, they have CRMs, etc. So if you're into a similar space, which I'm guessing most of the SaaS are. So I think AppSumo, I would definitely recommend that. So even after that, I've also seen founders doing product at maybe 6-7 months after AppSumo. We haven't gone through it, but somewhere down the line we are also planning for going the product hunt route and see the budget go fast.
Yeah, why we did launch on AppSumo was because हमारा day zero fix था कि हमको investor please and AppSumo is the only place where we could find and validate that scale. It has been a year since our deal ended like last March. We did good revenues वगैरह. हमने कुछ तो 200K का revenue किया था. After AppSumo का cut, we got like 85 lakhs in the bank. That was very good number. उस समय very right now. But a year later, if you ask me, I am not sure if next time if I have to do a startup, I would do an AppSumo. My reason to do that is because the kind of I would say expectations which these folks have, that is like too much. I mean, as of today, when it has come, our product has basically been growing
by bounds every month, taking for adding a lot of things, a lot of features. Now, obviously, not all of these features can be given to everybody because there are some features which also come with an incremental cost. And if you have to do that, then there is a cost to it. And then it becomes a hassle, like it happened like a month back only, that all the new feature which also had a incremental cost for us. So we decided that we will not give it to the building liability owners. And there was a human client, but fortunately we have some goodwill on Facebook groups and all those places, so it was managed. But looking back, I don't think so. It is worth the, I would say, I mean, the liability is not worth it. I agree that it is a good way of getting feedback. I mean, maybe a better way would have been to not do a price deal, just do a free or something like that, just talk to more stuff like that. I mean, that is fine.
We can do is like that. That is also something that we did. We came with a different pricing structure altogether for apps and for customers. They don't have unrealistic expectations. So if they are buying something for LTD, there are gaps, maybe revenue gaps or certain gaps for certain integrations. All those things. So we did that. That way we sort of try to manage their expectations as well as reduce the server or infrastructure costs and all. That is pretty much our take. We have also seen another very niche e-commerce builders who are charging like more than double of what we are charging for our basic plan. So our basic plan is 49 right now, and we have a second floor that is for 99. There are other niche, e-commerce store builders who start with $200 per month. But again, they are getting a different segment and they have different I guess my take would be, being the lowest guy doesn't really have to be tried that initially, and it backfired miserably at that time. So we realized that pretty soon. So it just made sense to do the math of whatever the costs, have some buffer, and have the right ticket size.